all of a sudden the entire population is steadily turning gay or turning trans, just generation. Probably in about 4 or 5 generations, no one will be straight anymore.
There's genuine risk of rape and the destruction of the country and dissolution of the entire way of life.
Everyone is gay.
Gay people. Who are they? And what do they want? According to most experts on gay people, they simply want equal rights, an end to discrimination, and a world that treats them with dignity. Other people, those with more money and more power, beg to differ.
Everybody transgender.
While some gay people might go on TV and demand everybody say love, other gay people, according to the homo whisperer himself, Elon Apartheid Musk,
the reason it's called dead naming is because your son is dead.
Who you can tell is a gay expert because he has a transgender daughter who cut off all contact with him and hates his guts,
I look pretty good for a dead.
Says that gay people do not, in fact, come in peace. Gay people plan to take over the world.
The world is your runway.
Okay, but seriously, that is what Elon Musk, the man who bought Tesla and then tricked everyone into thinking it was his idea actually believes. Could he, with his incredibly sound mind and his flawless judgment, be right about the GloboHomo agenda? If you doubt him, just listen to yourself. This is the man behind the Cybertruck, people. Would a stupid man make this?
Failure.
That's right. Elon Musk's newest favourite conspiracy theory is GloboHomo, the conspiracy theory that a shadowy elite is trying to make the West super woke and gay in order to take over the world. Yes, really. And if you think that's strange, the way Elon revealed his penchant for fear-mongering about every man around the world being hypnotised into wanting a hot dog real bad is even stranger somehow. So before you are tricked into wanting aubergine instead of tacos tonight, let me back up just a little bit.
The holidays have rolled around again, and it's time to eat, drink, and relax. However, you must also spend some time with your family and in-laws, which is never plain sailing, especially if some of them are GloboHomo stooges.
On the 5th of December, 2025, batshit far-right former TV personality and conspiracy theorist Jack Posobiec, presumably in between crying on his alt account End Wokeness and posting the 14 words, published one of the most pathetic tweets I have ever seen in my life. They're trying to make Looney Tunes gay! They're trying to make everything gay! This, in response to the recently announced Netflix acquisition of Warner Brothers, which was honestly terrible news for us all but for different reasons, was, I thought, a late contender for unintentionally funniest tweet of the year. After all, one, whose first thought upon seeing news of a media monopoly the size of a planet emerging is, Jesus Christ, what if they make Elmer Fudd transgender? And two, have you seen Looney Tunes? Have you seen Bugs Bunny? This rabbit has been caught cross-dressing so often, he's basically a shoo-in for next season of RuPaul's Drag Race. This is the first rabbit to serve fish. You mean to tell me this cartoon is gonna be super gay? Jesus wept! What are they gonna do next? Make Batwoman a lesbian? Make Superman's son bisexual? What? Are they gonna make Superman himself an immigrant? In response to this, Elon Musk, apparently not content with having ruined Twitter, shared a link from his AI Grok, the large language model that famously not long ago referred to itself as Mecha Hitler, and bragged about how Elon could drink more piss than any human being on the planet. Elon Musk has the potential to drink piss better than any human in history. He would win a piss drinking competition against other tech industry leaders in a landslide. Elon has had more than a dozen children, and has therefore been elbow deep in human fluids before. So Elon wouldn't just win, he'd finish the pint, slam the glass down, tweet "let's fucking go," and then ask if anyone wants to try piss from a Mars simulation habitat next. Oh sorry, that's the piss tweet? That's not what he replied with. Elon Musk replied with this post. GloboHomo, far-right critique of globalization. GloboHomo is a portmanteau of globalized and homosexual, originating in far-right, alt-right and dissident online circles, particularly on image boards like 4chan and 8chan in the mid-2010s. It is a pejorative slang term used to describe what its users see as a single homogenized liberal cosmopolitan world order that erases national, cultural, ethnic and traditional gender/sexual distinctions. Key elements typically included in the GloboHomo conspiracy rhetoric include global capitalism and supranational institutions that supposedly undermine national sovereignty, mass immigration and multiculturalism as tools to dissolve distinct peoples and cultures, promotion of LGBT rights, feminism, and progressive social values as a deliberate cultural weapon. Homosexual part of the term is both literal, referring to gay rights, and figurative, implying decadence and effeminacy. Consumerism, urbanity, and rootlessness associated with modern Western, especially American culture. Ruled by rootless cosmopolitan elites, often with anti-Semitic dog whistling about Jewish influence. The aesthetic contrast is often GloboHomo, rainbow flags, Starbucks, glass skyscrapers, pride parades, mixed race advertising, versus traditional, high trust, ethnically homogeneous societies with strong families and conservative values. The term is almost exclusively used ironically or hostilely by its proponents. Critics dismiss it as a far-right conspiracy theory, and gain wider visibility through figures like Bronze Age Pervert and certain segments of the Manosphere and the New Right. To which Jack Posobiec extremely normally replied, GloboHomo, he's the final boss!
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
And of course, he was wrong. The final boss is in fact me, Brigitte Empire, science and culture correspondent for the Daily Telegraph, the only newspaper in Britain that welcomes our GloboHomo overlords. What do we care if the world is being turned gay? I'm already gay, and everyone else who works in this building is both devoid of flesh and blood, and on Grindr behind their wives' backs. Sorry to reveal your secret, Dan, but you can only see so many profiles for a sexy Draugr 1 meter away before you put 2 and 2 together. Forgetting me for a second, however, what if GloboHomo, the far-right conspiracy theory positing that a secret and heavily implied to be Jewish cabal of sinister cosmopolitan elites determined to make the whole world gay and also erase white people for some reason, is correct? What if this isn't some bizarre conspiracy that Elon Musk is obsessed with because he has a breeding kink he's trying to make everyone else on the planet's problem, and that he thinks Jewish supervillains are trying to turn the world gay so white people don't have any babies, and a load of scary brown people are trying to take over the, now presumably, extremely gay world? Well, if Elon Musk believes it, you'd better believe there are people in the United States government, if only little Groyper intern weirdos, who actually believe it. Even though it is, in actual fact, a horrendous homophobic and racist conspiracy theory, which is obviously bollocks if you think about it for even a split second. And it's something you could only believe if you're the exact right combination of paranoid and racist that you think the white race is about to crumble into dust at the sight of a single gay kiss on a Netflix show. Or perhaps that the white race will make like Hitler in the Führer bunker at the mere suggestion of Bugs Bunny in a skimpy little dress, marrying Elmer Fudd, flirting with every passerby dressed like a Hollywood starlet, you know, like he used to do in half the Looney Tunes episodes he was in that plenty of white people watched as a kid without turning to dust like Spider-Man at the end of Infinity War. You have the obvious anti-Semitic dog whistle in there, of course, globalist homo, so we know it's one of many conspiracy theories about a plausibly deniable but definitely Jewish elite trying to take over the world. Presumably, like other New World Order-style conspiracy theories, creating a one-world government where they will rule over all chuds with an iron fist. By, if I can translate the second half of that phrase, making them gay. He's turning gay! Of course, it goes a little bit deeper than that. The cabal is, according to Elon Musk and his sources, trying to make more people gay so that they don't have children. Read white children. And therefore all white people will gay themselves into extinction. Because of course, IVF, surrogacy, and adoption just don't exist in the imaginary of the conspiracy theorist. All gay people hate having children, apparently. This logic brought to you by people who think eating soy makes you gay, a conspiracy theory that managed to be both racist and homophobic at the same time, which obviously is of interest to Elon Musk given his, proclivities. And I'm serious about that soy conspiracy part. One of the more high-profile proponents of the GloboHomo conspiracy theory is a man known on the internet as Raw Egg Nationalist, and as the name might suggest, he thinks the modern diet is an anti-white trap designed to make everyone gay, and every white man needs to switch to eating raw eggs immediately, which you would assume would kill all these white people since they'll all get salmonella.
The enemy today is what I like to call soy globalism. The globalist aim is to destroy nations and local communities, and they do this by isolating communities and sickening them through food, and also through so-called medicine, and all the dreadful chemicals we're exposed to on a daily basis. The globalists want you to be fat, sick, depressed, and isolated, the better to control you and to milk you for as much economic value as they can before they kill you. That's soy globalism in a nutshell. Own nothing, live in the pod, eat the soy. The best response to this is a strong politics of nationalism. The nation is only as strong as the individuals who make it up, and that's where raw eggs come in.
Hey!
But what is this GloboHomo conspiracy theory really? I mean, we know what the definition is because Elon Musk helpfully forced it upon us via his faithful servant Mecha Hitler. But what is it in practice? Where does it come from? Should we be concerned that one of the most powerful men on the planet not only believes the conspiracy theory, but is spreading it around and trying to popularize it to a more mainstream audience? In other words, how did a neo-Nazi term from 4chan of all places end up on the lips of the world's richest man? And who made GloboHomo a thing that billionaires listen to anyway? Well, unfortunately, GloboHomo is a /poll 4chan conspiracy theory about homosexual globalization, one that is closely linked to cultural Marxism, something we'll get back to later, broke containment into the mainstream a while ago at this point. Canadian truckers in the anti-Trudeau trucker convoy rallied against the GloboHomo dictatorship of Trudeau, referring to the fact that Trudeau didn't outright gay people, and that he is maybe Fidel Castro's son. It's not often you could class a world leader as someone's fail son, but I guess he managed it somehow. In Europe, a video game company called KVLT Games, creators of the hit 2020 game Heimat Defender Rebellion, or Homeland Defender, an appropriately fascist name for this game, stated that its video game should inspire other people to resist GloboHomo. In the game, Europe has become a dystopian society. Imagine that. But this time it's not due to everything that's happening right now, but it's due to the domination of the GloboHomo elite.
The time has come to ask, are you winning, son? Enter a future where freedom is a distant memory. Globalism has won, and rebellion is the only hope. You are Human 1028. He's not just fighting for himself, he's fighting for Europa. You'll face the ultimate enemy, a digital dictatorship that owns everything. But judgment comes for those who deserve it. Make Europe great again.
This is a society where open borders, brought to you by GloboHomo Corps, is displayed as if that's a horrifying thing to behold, and not, incredibly based. GloboHomo even has spawned an equal and opposite idea. Equal and opposite in that they're both stupid and aren't real, called Globo Uomo, which aims to build the new handsome nationalist, a new type of man, or rather, an old type of man, reborn. Globo, not because he's a globalist in outlook, but because his appearance is a global event. Handsome, stylish, physically fit, charming and witty. Learned, but disdainful of intellectual imposture and empty gesturing. The Globo Uomo is, in short, a man of refinement, but also a man of action. Ha! Gay! Boy, doesn't it sound like whoever wrote that was a raging GloboHomo? Speaking of which, the man who wrote that, our aforementioned and so-called raw egg nationalist, wrote it explicitly to contrast the base gay and tacitly Jewish GloboHomo against the straight and tacitly Nazi Globo Uomo, which is just nakedly an attempt to redefine the Nazi ideal of the Übermensch for the age of the internet, replacing the most bloodthirsty and racist interpretations of Nietzsche with memes designed to seem tongue-in-cheek while actually expressing the same ideal. A master race, with everyone other underneath it, and deserving of, well, you know the rest.
Judgment comes for those who deserve it. Too bad they all deserve it.
I'm in danger!
As for how billionaires started paying attention to this 4chan poison, Elon Musk and his faithful assistant Mecha Hitler were very eager to tell me about this part. You see, when Musk made that post with information about where this theory came from, as if it didn't make him look like he needs serious professional help, he left a trail. A trail that leads to some of the stupidest people on the entire history of the planet. Because this theory, this GloboHomo hypothesis that has culminated in, according to Elon Musk and Jack Posobiec, Netflix buying Warner Brothers, for some reason, was popularized by the greatest philosopher of our time, Bronze Age Pervert.
A life of freedom, of war, a life of honor and the search for glory and distinction in war. It is the spiritual orientation of a people of conquerors.
Hey, Grok? What the fuck is this?
The left, which seeks not the deification of mankind or of man, but its debasement into cockroach form, grievances of serfs.
Why do people like this run the world now? I wish GloboHomo was real. Maybe if we did have an exclusively gay-run, super woke one-world government, Elon Musk would be legally required to shut the fuck up. Well, while he hasn't received his government-mandated shut the fuck up order, let's learn about who Bronze Age Pervert is, and while Elon Musk thinks he's the reincarnation of Plato or something. Straight from Mecha Hitler's mouth, as posted by Musk in his explanation for why he thinks Bugs Bunny being owned by Netflix is gonna collapse Western civilization and make all of us gay. Someone give me whatever Musk is having. Bronze Age Pervert, BAP, is a pseudonymous author of the 2018 book Bronze Age Mindset and the associated Twitter/X account @BronzeAgePerv. He is widely regarded as the single most influential figure in popularizing and refining the GloboHomo concept, turning it from a crude 4chan meme into a central aesthetic and philosophical pillar of the post-2016 dissident right. Gave GloboHomo its canonical aesthetic. GloboHomo means rainbow-haired obese people at pride parades, soulless glass architecture, corporate diversity adds bugmen in pods, HR department feminism. Vitalism is ancient Greek and Roman statues, shirtless, strong men in nature. I don't know, sounds pretty GloboHomo to me. Steppe nomads, pre-modern warriors, solar masculinity. Older men, oiled up, with armor on, all wrestling each other. This stark visual dichotomy made GloboHomo instantly recognizable and mimetically potent far beyond niche image boards. In Bronze Age Mindset and his podcast Caribbean Rhythms, he describes a modern Western civilization as a decaying, feminized, bureaucratic slave society ruled by ugly and resentful longhouse women and their weak male collaborators. GloboHomo is assumed by this entire regime. He contrasts this with an imagined Bronze Age or archaic warrior ideal of beauty, hierarchy, and unrestrained vitality. Bronze Age Pervert, remember this is who they're referring to, has been cited or praised by US senator staffers and Trump administration officials, tech and finance billionaires including Peter Thiel, major conservative intellectuals like Curtis Yarvin. So obviously, this is all completely batshit, but you'll notice that despite all of that being something you would make up in a comedy as a joke ideology that no one would possibly believe, it has been cited by and wholesale adopted by some of the most powerful people on Earth. Elon Musk, obviously, but also Peter Thiel, the evil rich Palantir guy, perhaps most famous for refusing to say whether he thinks human beings should continue to exist. A gay man supporting the GloboHomo theory because he obviously hates himself. The man who basically owns Vice President JD Vance, and to whom my government, and statistically also your government, is trying to sell all its citizens' data to.
You would prefer the human race to endure, right? You're hesitating.
Yeah, well,
Yes?
I don't know. I would.
This is a long hesitation. This is a long hesitation.
There's so many questions implicit in
Should
this.
the human race survive?
Yes.
Okay.
But
on top of that, you have Curtis Yarvin, who is his own can of worms. But Yarvin's ideas are 1. Crazy, and 2. Believed by top figures in the Trump administration, including, once again, JD Vance. Yes, the hillbilly eulogy author and Pope killer turned Charlie Kirk wife boner, Jelly Donut Vance, parody takes its cues from Curtis Yarvin, the man trying to, like a Saturday morning cartoon villain, bring about a dark enlightenment.
Democracy is basically considered one of the worst forms of government until the 18th century. It's a sort of becomes the reverse of a slur in America around that time. But it had traditionally been like, oh, this was tried and it doesn't work.
According to The Verge, no one online has shaped J.D. Vance's thinking more than Curtis Yarvin, a man who wishes to end liberal democracy and replace it with Caesarism, something he describes as a form of one-man rule, halfway between monarchy and tyranny. And let us not forget that we're talking about a book and a podcast and associated works promoting a 4chan Nazi conspiracy theory written by a man called Bronze Age Pervert. So to investigate this, I obviously did what any sane person would do. I read his book, Bronze Age Mindset, because I hate myself so much that I'll put myself through reading some of the most batshit fascist ramblings ever put to paper for £3 whole of AdSense money and the sense that I know my enemy a little bit better. And let me just give a few words of advice that I've learned from reading this book. Don't read it. I'm serious. It reads like this all the way through. Spiritually, your insides are all wet, and there's a huge hole through where monstrous powers are fucking your brain, letting loose all your life and power of focus. You don't see yourself as you really are, and maybe some nightmare can show it to you. I am here to show you the way out. There was Empedocles, a philosopher, man of high vision. He jumped into Volcano Etna in Sicily because he knew he would be reborn as a god. Now imagine yourself in front of rim of Etna. It's dry and sandy. You can feel the heat, but it's not like you thought it might be. It's not romantic. It's just hot, dry. You can't breathe. And the smell of infernal sulfur and wet earth, and even worse things, triggering an old memory or instinct in you to run. You're brought to face with the vehemence and brutality of rock, and you start to feel dizzy staring in. Molten rock in your nostrils. And it's not just that it scares you. If it were great fear, that could be a spur to action. But it fills your nostrils with banality and dullness of plain molten dust. You see grey and black. It reminds you of torrid summer afternoon by an abandoned gas station. You are stranded on dirt road, choked by heat and so much dust. You see flames in the hole, but it lacks the romance of fire as you imagined. Is this it? It seems like nothing to you, because to your eye, it's nothing. So you pull away from it. You're not reborn as a god. You remain a mule. Your lying mind now comes up with the many thoughts about why it's right to pull back. Why, of course! Not a nice meal to have, a glass of wine. Maybe there's a girl waiting. Her is warm and inviting. Empedocles was deluded. So despite what Grok might lead you to believe, this horrible writer isn't some sort of intellectual giant. He may have influenced some of the most powerful tech ghouls on the planet, but that's more of a function of them being complete rubes and a condemnation of a society that throws the stupidest people in the world to the top than him being some sort of visionary philosopher. This man's incoherent and paranoid works helped to spread a 4chan theory to people who were powerful enough to act on it, however. And that is scary. And despite his book sounding like, well, what I just read to you, Bronze Age Mindset reached number 3 on Amazon's best-selling list for ancient Greek history, partially thanks to his popularity online in far-right circles, and probably the fact that most people aren't buying books on Greek history. His Twitter account, prior to his 2021 ban, had 75,500 followers. And while that isn't the biggest following in the world, this is tens of thousands of people dedicated to this one man's incoherent ramblings. And from that following, we go from explicitly fascist rantings of anonymous 4chan and Twitter nobodies to the most powerful and wealthy people in the world, believing it is their duty to prevent a cabal of powerful elites from trying to turn all white people gay. And given that Elon Musk and members of the Trump administration are already all in on the white conspiracy theory as it is, well, this doesn't even add on to that horrendous conspiracy theory, except to further flesh out who must be stopped to prevent it. It's not just brown and black people and Jews and Muslims and Romani and all the other ethnic groups they don't like. No. It's also all gay and trans people, and everyone that thinks it's okay that gay and trans people exist. It shouldn't need saying at this point, but this is an extremely dangerous path to go down. And make no mistake, the people that spread these theories are already very familiar with and very fond of the 20th century monsters who tried to do this exact same thing before. In fact, this whole GloboHomo conspiracy theory is in actuality just a rhetorical twist on the cultural Marxism conspiracy theory. Or, if you're French, Islamo-gauchisme. Or, if you're in the 1930s, because of course all of this goes back to Germany in the 1930s, Judeo-Bolshevism. If you poke at any fascist theory, you eventually find Hitler apologia. There are no new ideas under the sun, only new ways to package old ideas to sell them to more people. So, when we unmask this conspiracy theory like we're some sort of Antifa Mystery Inc., what will we, a bunch of meddling kids and a damn dog, find beneath the mask? What exactly are people like Elon Musk, Jack Posobiec, Peter Thiel, Curtis Yarvin, J.D. Vance, and the now irrelevant spreader of cultural Marxism as a conspiracy theory, Jordan Peterson, trying to sell us with this shit? Judeo-Bolshevism as a conspiracy theory has its origins in Hungary in the 1920s, when two French writers visited the country in search of a story that validated their pre-existing anti-Semitic beliefs, in the wake of the communist revolution in Hungary falling apart. The book about the Hungarian Revolution they wrote when they returned to France was titled, When Israel is King. The two Frenchmen described how, in their words, Jews in Hungary conspired to replace Hungarians and Hungary's national culture with their own perverted system of anti-national and anti-Christian values. Sound familiar? In words that if you replace Jew with Muslim and change the setting to America, you could imagine being written by any number of people in power today, they wrote that a few weeks in Budapest sufficed to overthrow a society built up over centuries. A new Jerusalem arose on the banks of the Danube, sprung from the mind of Karl Marx, and built by Jewish hands on ancient messianic thoughts. According to A Spectre Haunting Europe, the myth of Judeo-Bolshevism, the writers meant their book to be a warning that the nations of Europe had to defend themselves, or else Hungary's fate would be theirs as well. This sounds eerily similar to what Elon Musk has been saying about Britain and Europe in general, doesn't it?
I want Britain to remain Britain. I think there's something beautiful about being British. And what I see happening is a destruction of Britain. Initially a slow erosion, but a rapidly increasing erosion of Britain, with massive uncontrolled migration, a failure by the government to protect innocent people, including children, who are getting gang. It's unreal. The government has failed in its duty to protect its citizens. If this continues, what world will you be living in? If this continues, that violence is going to come to you. You will have no choice. You're in a fundamental situation here where whether you choose violence or not, violence is coming to you. You either fight back or you die. You either fight back or you die. And that's the truth.
Well, I don't think there are any Nazis here. That's what a Nazi would say.
The myth of Judeo-Bolshevism held that communism was a Jewish invention. Jews, so the story went, dominated the leadership of communist parties in order to further their own power. For this reason, Jews were responsible for communist crimes and also for the anti-Semitic backlash that inevitably followed. After 1917, the myth of Judeo-Bolshevism exploded in a fury of anti-Jewish violence amid the maelstrom of war, revolution, and the collapse of empires in Central and Eastern Europe. During the Russian Civil War, a wave of pogroms caused the deaths of as many as 180,000 Jews and left another 500,000 homeless and destitute. The perpetrators, mainly counter-revolutionary whites who wanted to restore the Russian Empire, and armed groups loyal to the Ukrainian national government, accused local Jews of helping the Bolsheviks to power. In Hungary, counter-revolutionaries made the same argument after a short-lived Bolshevik regime collapsed there. Some 3,000 people were killed in the ensuing White Terror, about half of them Jews. Meanwhile, fears spread in Western Europe and across the Atlantic that Jewish migrants from Central and Eastern Europe carried revolutionary infection with them. Calls to close borders to newcomers quickly multiplied.
You either fight back or you die.
It shouldn't need saying at this point that the way figures like Elon Musk, Donald Trump, Curtis Yarvin and the like talk about Muslims directly parallels the things people a century ago were saying about Jewish people. In fact, we just had a wannabe congresswoman in Texas making the media rounds saying things about Muslims that would have made Hitler blush.
Vote for me so we can kick every dirty Muslim out of Texas. For me, this is just an election. But for you and your daughter, this is your life. Because Texas has only gotten more Muslim under these weak Republicans. New York City already fell to Islam. So did Michigan and Minnesota. And you're next in line. If Texas falls to Islam, it's simply because you didn't vote correctly. God bless you all.
The GloboHomo conspiracy theories are an attempt to make sure queer people are put into the crossfire too. As has happened before. Not only, GloboHomo claims, are Muslims coming to replace all of you, they're going to make your country somehow both super woke and gay and run by ISIS-style fundamentalist fanatics, even though that's completely incoherent and contradictory, and that those ideas are incompatible and nobody is trying to replace you. If you think they are, you are just paranoid and frankly racist. I guess, since you need to be a perfect combination of paranoid and racist to believe this, it's no surprise that this horrifying and murderous ideology is championed by the likes of Elon Musk and Peter Thiel. People that have all of the power in the world, more money and influence than any of us could ever ask for, and yet spend their lives making the world worse for everyone and attacking anyone and everything they deem to be a threat to their idea of utopia. Their utopia being a world where they are kings, and anyone that's not white, straight, and worships at their feet is dead. So, after all that, is GloboHomo evident in the fact that Netflix is trying to buy Warner Brothers, as Elon Musk said? No! And the idea that anyone would jump from a news story that says one megacorporation is trying to buy another and conclude that this means the white race are under attack by the Sinister Six if they were both gay and Muslim is genuinely horrifying. If Elon Musk were not the richest man in the world and didn't have all the power that he currently has, he would just be another paranoid mess of a man, brain melted by divorce, desperately in need of intervention, someone to de-radicalize him and help him regain his grip on reality. But because of his class position, because of his vast wealth, and because of his direct influence on the regime that controls the planet, he can just say stuff like this and throw more money than most countries make in a year each day at people that spread these ideas and that will try to do something about it. He has the power to do this. He's offered to bankroll fascist parties across Europe and is buddy-buddy with nutcase fascists like Tommy Robinson. At the time of writing, the European Union threatened Twitter with a fine, and suddenly a bunch of influential right-wing dickheads, and Ted Cruz of all people, joined in with Elon Musk's call for the EU to be abolished, burned to the ground for daring to find this fragile, paranoid man. He needs to be stopped, but will he be? Probably not. But if he continues like this, our governments need to gain a fucking backbone and stand up for themselves. How many times can a man call for your country to be destroyed and claim that millions are being savaged across a country based on nothing but reading racist tweets before you'll just tell him to simply piss off? I don't care how rich he is. You would think he would have been cut off after the Nazi salute. But no, all of our rulers have to queue up to lick the boots of the powerful at minimum 5 times a day because they're only in it for power, money, and influence. This guy wants your countries abolished. Honestly, all of this just makes me wish GloboHomo were real. At least then I'd have a gay utopian future to look forward to. Just picture it. No Elon Musk. Trans and gay people partying all over the world. Racists finally defeated once and for all. I mean, I know it's meant to be a dystopian prediction, but if you threaten me with total gay victory and say it's a horror story that means we need to preserve this world, well, the only people who are thriving in our current position are people like Elon Musk. And he's only thriving financially. Spiritually, that man is lost. Not even the people who've looted everyone's money and make us miserable every day are happy. They're always telling us how miserable they are and how paranoid they are. Give us our fucking money back then. There is only one thing I can conclude all this with, and that's that everyone who believes this conspiracy theory would, in a functioning society, have their phones confiscated and be assigned court-mandated grass-touching. To all the gays in the audience, to paraphrase Karl Marx, may the ruling classes tremble at our GloboHomo revolution. We have a world to win. Homos of the world, unite! We have nothing to lose but our chains! Or something. Thanks for watching. GloboHomo forever! Imagine GloboHomo. Doesn't it sound neat? Oh. Hey, thank you for watching this video all the way to the end. I had a cold today, you probably noticed, so if you thought my voice sounded weird, that's why. I mean, weirder than usual. I'm croaky, I'm snotty, and it took a lot of takes in this video, so yeah, hopefully I just don't sound like phlegm, but even if I did sound like phlegm, why not give this video a like? Fuck it, why not? Pro phlegm comments, subscribe for phlegm, tell your phlegms, friends about it, share it around, say I love this phlegm, I love sick people, but if you don't love me being sick, you can make me feel better for when I'm not sick, or make me feel better when I'm sick. I guess I would feel better if you can help me out with giving me some money. One-time donations, coffee or PayPal, links below as always. Merch store also a thing, you can get a shirt there. Or you can go to my Patreon or YouTube memberships, where you can get early videos. Uncensored versions, if you heard beeping in this video, you can find the unbeeped version on the Patreon. Access to the members-only Discord, that's a cool place to be. I like people there, it's nice. My Nintendo Switch friend code, and exclusive content, and in future you will get early streaming archives, but I haven't started doing that yet because it's not the new year and Christmas is busy. You'll also, good stuff, get your name read and video. You like these. Ken Sorden, Andrew Steele, Georgie, Carlito Del Monzotte, Anna Nicholson, Dungeon Slime, Naomi Gorman, Melody, Ben Norman, Brooklynette, Heidi Law, Transform and Function, Cara Patching, Mattia 98, Zoffrey, Lilith Dawn, Spin Noir, Victor Lufgren, Gil, the Gilded Dragon, A Slice of Cake, Rue, Kawaii Esquire, Charlie Hallam, Buried Elk, Ewan Bennett, Bags, Mao TM, Gina Service, You Are Made of Stupid, Tomo, Melissa Jackson, Ren approves of your stuff, Minstrel of course, Jeffreyon, Tom the Not Quite So Brave as Sir Lancelot, LFR, Shrikoi, Ariella, Proquar, Robin Thomas, Emily Eisenberg, Kathleen 1410 Itchy, Garlicscape, Kira B, No Sparkling Heart, Corey, Gianna J, Mighty the Sword, Carolyn, Imogen Q, Luciano Frias Andrade, Adam, Harry, Endop 191, Cav, Quesadilla, the Tortilla Azul, Liron, Adam Lees, Daniel Nevels, Know About Paul, MB, Wandering Wonder, Ash Murphy, Lex Phoenix, Enter Curzitz, Mira D, Jade Senior, Boa Ear, James W, Thorngill, Deborah Laboon, Zillas Athenaeum, Vince Whitaker, Amelia Lissette, Jason Haig, Frank McManus, Susan Foster, Helena Real, Sierra Whiskey, Ali Catgill, John Ed, Lloyd Luciente, Jason Cribbett, Shield Dade, Ron Podolsky, Nightlight Plushy Jesus, Casual Observer, Manta Courtney Burmack, Sleepy Slug, Philippa Tabroga, Soma Piglet, Brain Douche, Artie Wolf, Deanna McMillan, Caroline Regalado, Alexandra Liddy, PJ Lisbrel, Howard Lott, Nerania, Eva Kebab, Marty Hunt, Robert McCallan, Jane Luciferian, Melissa Allen, Ataraxis Builds Things, and Sarah Francesca Smith. Sarah Francesca Smith, the last name! It's not even a hard name, I'm just sick. Thank you everyone, you are the best, I love you. Everyone else who's not there, I love you too, but less. I love you slightly less. But if you give me money, you will go up in my estimation. You will get 1 point on the like scale, unless you are my real life friend, in which case I also like you. You get a point too. Okay. Goodbye.